Welcome to another episode of the Politrickkks As Usual podcast. I got Sweets today. Very, very big time guest here. Thank you for coming down from Norwalk.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're going to get into, I want to start with you, like I told you before, with just the beginning, just the very, very beginning from when you began your journey before you got into like where you're at now. We'll get there, but I want to start from the very beginning.
Okay. So when we say the beginning of Sweets or the beginning of the business?
Sweets. Because you start with music, right?
Yeah, start with music.
And are you from Norwalk originally?
No.
Okay, where you originally from?
I'll say, well, you know what? I was born in Connecticut, moved to North Carolina, to New York, and back to Connecticut. All this was at a young age.
Okay.
And then after I got older, I moved back to New York because it was a lot of family still there. But then when my son started school, I came back to Connecticut because I know what it's like to have a backyard and green grass as opposed to the courtyard. You know, I just didn't feel like it was fair.
Right. Okay, so you got around here in Norwalk because I know you and Dolo, and rest in peace of Dolo, of course.
Yes.
I know you and Dolo are very involved in the Norwalk music scene.
Absolutely.
I met so many artists from Norwalk, like from back in the day, from Billy Bush as a DJ. From every time I hear something about music, I hear y'all.
Right.
So y'all are super intertwined in that scene.
Yeah.
So how did you get into that culture in the beginning in Norwalk? Like, what was that like?
So you know how I really got knee deep into it is when Dolo and I got together. But it's funny you mentioned Billy Bush because he was kind of one of the first people that I met at a young age before he was a DJ. So we used to play in the arcade together. His dad would bring him, give us both quarters, but he had little Fisher Price turntables. So he's a DJ for real. And people don't understand how he goes back into music.
I love Billy.
So, man.
My very first episode, Billy was here.
Yeah?
Yeah. So,
nice. Did he tell you about the Fisher Price turntables and all that stuff?
He did. He was spinning for me. Originally the idea was I wanted to open the show with like some DJing, some real DJing. And like I know Billy's like him. Yeah. I grew up, my grandmother was from West Main. So I grew up right across. Yeah. Nice. So every holiday, we come into West Main Street, so Billy's there. My sister was cool with Billy. So I know Billy since I was a kid, too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So my very first episode I did here, he had his equipment set up. It was dope.
Yeah, he had his 45s because he loves spinning on his 45s. He had his albums, too?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, he's dope.
I didn't realize, this when I'm brand new, I didn't realize that, you can't use music.
Oh, yeah.
Copyright. So I'm like, damn, that's not going to work. But that was the idea. I wanted him to open every show with a cassette because Billy is really, really like that. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
But yeah, so all right, so you got into it with Billy.
So we got into it, no, I got into it. Well, the first time I was ever in the studio was with my brother. I was singing, and that was at a young age. That was before I was 13. So we've always had music. My brother was a DJ. But then fast forward, when I was living in New York and I would come to Connecticut on the weekends and go to Diamond Gems and they played this song and the whole club went crazy. And I'm like, who the hell is this? And I never forget because I didn't drink, but for some reason I had a Heineken in my head and I remember having it by the neck and I'm like, who is this? And they said, this is Dolomite. And I'm like, Dolomite, who the hell? But everybody's going crazy on the dance floor. Right. So I left. I came back, and left, went back to New York, came back the following weekend or 2 weeks later. They played this 1, 2, 3. When you hear that, hold up, wait a minute. The club went crazy to the point where they banned it. They said no more playing this 1, 2, 3 at Diamond Gems because they went bananas. Wow. So I kept asking, who is Dolomite? So one weekend I was down here and I was actually apprenticed to 9X, rest his soul. He was one of the baddest barbers.
I remember that. I remember his name.
You remember him?
Yeah.
So he was teaching me how to cut hair. And at that time, all the chairs were lined up in the barber shop. It was pretty big. And as he was teaching me, he said, yeah, Dolomite, you're the one that... And I said, Dolomite. Which one of you are Dolomite? Because here I am hearing his name again. Right. So we clicked from there. And
that's almost like destiny or something.
But you know what?
It's like, you know what I mean?
I still left and came back. I wasn't tripping, But then one of my guys, E. Bishop, he brought this guy to the car and he said, hey, I want you to meet my man, Dolomite. I said, here we go again. He said, I just want to sell you my cassette. He had his cassette, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So he signed it, autographed it with his phone number in it.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's kind of how that was the birth of, it was E. Bishop that really brought us together with the number. So, I would call him and, and just played a little cat and mouse game. And then he swept me off my feet.
Yeah.
And then we would go to, I would go to his shows. And I noticed that his manager wasn't always there. And so now I'm in my feelings like, well, where the hell is your manager? Like, what's going on?
Okay, so you always been like that.
Yeah.
You always been like that.
And so then, I said, this isn't going to work because now he was with Boogie Down Production. There's no manager. So I'm out there networking, and doing his manager job. I said, listen, something has to give. But if I'm going to get involved, you have to tell me how serious are you?
Right.
And that's just an emotional story.
Of course. Yeah, definitely.
Even but I have to tell you how he told me how serious he was.
Yeah.
And I hope I don't get emotional because I think I'm strong enough for this now. But we had met one day at the old Norwalk Community College. And, he was telling me about the music. Damn it. He was telling me about the music.
Sorry, we got to stop. We stop.
Nah, it's cool. We're gonna push through it.
Yeah.
He was telling me about the music. And so I asked him, how serious was he? And he put me on my back. He was between my legs. I was sitting on a loading dock and we was just talking, and he just grabbed my hands and he started running straight up Grey Rock Hill. And I'm like, and so I'm bouncing and I'm like, I can't hold on. And he wouldn't talk to me. He just kept running. And I'm like, this guy is crazy. So he ran straight to my house and then he opens the door. My mother, rest her soul too. She was on the couch. And he busts through the door and he runs through, and goes to my room. And he collapsed on the bed and he said, if this doesn't show you how bad I want it, I don't know what else I could do. And just collapsed. And I said, Jesus Christ. So from that point on, that was the pivotal moment for my supporting him in the music and me being knee deep in the music.
That's fire. That's dope though. Okay. Now listen, again, I know if you get, you know what I'm saying? Dolo name, his energy. I feel his energy. It's not really weeks. I'm in Stanford and I still hear Dolo name.
Right.
So his energy is carrying and it's big and it's strong. So, but we won't take too much time there. Let's fast forward into, that's an amazing story though. And thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
But let's move into the recording studio, Sonar Entertainment. Cause I've been in there too. And I sat with Dolo.
Yeah.
When I first came home, I sat with Dolo cause I was doing music before I went in. And I'm like, I want to build a beat. And I'm like, who can make the beat from scratch? Everybody's like, go see Dolo. So I sit with Dolo and I'm trying to like beatbox it out. We just sitting and building. And we did it. I'll find the beat. We had did like a rough job. I'll let you hear the beat. We had did a rough job for the beat, but we just chopped it up. And that was my last real memory of him just sitting there with him, talking to him, trying to build that beat.
Right.
And then coming back with you and Gabe. I was doing a video and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that was, but I know that studio, like I said, in my opinion, at this point is the premier studio in Norwalk. As far as being known, I think you guys are in a good location and it embodies a lot of culture.
Right.
And you have like a lot of different things. You got different rooms and stuff like that. Right. So now you moved into the music scene and that branched off into like so many other things, right? Because you got this programs.
Absolutely. So what happened? So it started with the music with Dolo, but I've always thrown parties. So what I left out is one of our friends was turning 21, and he said, "I'm turning 21. Don't nobody care." Da, da, da. So I planned a surprise party for him, and I was still living in New York then too. But I planned a surprise party for him out there at the Carver. And not in New York, in Norwalk at the Carver. And remember the song 1, 2, 3.
Right.
So and Dolo gave me his number on that cassette.
Right.
So I called him. I said, "Listen, I'm about to fly out, but we're doing this surprise party for Karan. We should play your music on the walk-in." He's like, "Bet, I said, "All right, the plane's getting ready to take off, so I got to hang up." Truth be told, I was on the train. So Karan was looking at me like, on the plane, but I wanted to hang up because I already knew the perception he had of me. Yeah. So now I'm flying out now.
Yeah, big time. I hit you with my flat leg.
Yeah. So and before the conductor said all aboard. So we did that, so I threw parties, so Craig G, when he wasn't even in Connecticut yet. Yeah. I know people was from first people that brought him to Connecticut. Yeah. But while he was still in New York, he was my guy. So I got some mixtapes, the master of the mixtapes, and I was selling Craig G mixtapes. So then I had for a party. You know, I had him DJ for a party again. So that's the entertainment and Chosen Few Entertainment or Sono Entertainment and recording studios. The entertainment is everything else we do. The recording studios is what our claim to fame was.
Exactly. And that's what I know. That's why I said before we even started, I know it's layered.
Yes.
So I know that's like your anchor.
Yes,
I know that's your hub. You know, everybody pull up there and that's your spot. But I also know that you be on the ground. Like, I know that you move out of there and that you do things. I know Gabe had told me years ago that you were working with a school or something. Yeah. A program. Was it girls or?
It's not girls. It's whoever, but it's the LIFT program.
Exactly.
Yeah, the LIFT program. Yep. So that's a nonprofit. And Dolo started that because, you know, had he had something like the LIFT program when he was coming up, he would have made better choices. You know, like all of us. If we had better resources, we could make better choices. Right. So he created the LIFT program. After he passed, I made it official nonprofit. So it's the LIFT Foundation. And with that, it's an acronym for Learning is Fun Too. So everything we teach and we do in the studio, we teach. You know, I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is that we're doing. If you want to learn how to walk, you know, talk, speak, you know, music. It's bigger than music. You know, it's building morale, you know, and character in people.
So the LIFT program, you work with the kids. I think, first of all, again, thank you for that work. I think it's super important for people who have been through things, who got wisdom, who got knowledge to reach back and to mentor and to teach younger kids. Like, that is super important for me. That's something that I do myself. So appreciative of that. And that's why I asked you to come. Like, the studio is cool, but it's what are we doing with the gifts? Like, you know, and that's what moves me. Like, how are we using our gifts and abilities? Dolo and you, I was managing Dublin. And so again, there's so much intersectionality with y'all. Yes. It don't matter which way I go. It's like Sweets, Dolo. I'm like, yo. Right. So he's telling you about all the experiences he had in there. But I see how polished of an artist he is. Yes. Bro, I'm like, yo, bro, you got it. You know what I'm saying? And he was just saying, y'all should sit up with the Dolo and sit up with this person and that person. And so I know y'all are doing amazing work and y'all are like printing out, you know, people and giving people opportunities and better chances. And that's true. Right. If some of us had different opportunities, we would make different decisions. But at the same time, had he not gone the wrong way, he wouldn't have been this. Right. So he he had to do that. He had to go through whatever Dolo went through to y'all to go through. Exactly.
To be Dolo, to be who he is. You know, it's that refinement. Exactly. You know, it's a period of refinement. And Dublin is so dope that you mentioned him because the first center to buy and pay us and contract the LIFT program was CTE. Wow. And Dublin was L-Dub. You know, he was Lawrence, you know, and then he came up the name L-Dub in the program. And it's so funny because I have little pictures of him when he was first introduced to the music, the MPC, the making beats. And out of the entire class, he was always serious. To the point where people was getting mad at him. Yeah. So if you see in some of the old pictures, everybody's behind him, but he's there like a boss in the pictures in the front. And he's dope. Yeah, dope. You know, and that's what it is that we train artists. You know, we teach them how to be polished, you know, and how to really master their craft.
Nah, for real. That's again, for real. Like, cause I seen it when I pulled up that night, y'all was shooting a video. Like, y'all always was like doing something. Right. Y'all shooting videos. Y'all got money guns. Like, for me, I'm like, yo, they really like doing this, you know what I'm saying? So again, it's a lot of intersectionality with y'all and just the Connecticut music scene. Right. And then you got the LIFT program too. Right. So I also know that you recently did a big festival in Norwalk. You did a Juneteenth festival.
A Juneteenth, yeah.
So what was the inspiration behind that? Was this your first one? How did it go?
Well, you know what? It wasn't my first carnival. Dolo and I did this same carnival in 2016, almost the same weekend before Juneteenth was a holiday. Juneteenth just became official June of 2019, I believe, federal holiday. So that's what it was. You know, I had hands on the carnival, and it really started with the Black Heritage Parade. So it hasn't been a Black parade in Norwalk in 27 years. Right. So now I'm thinking of ways Isn't
that crazy though?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like you say that out loud, right? It's like 27 years?
27 since August 9th, 2009, right? Crazy. 2009. It hasn't been a Black Heritage Parade. So I came out the studio and it's the St. Patrick's Day Parade. Right. I'm like, here we go. They
you right downtown too, so everything right about you.
Yeah. So I said, so what are we doing? I went Facebook Live. I said, what are we doing? So another year, no Black Parade?
Yeah.
Come on, y'all, what are we doing? And somebody said, well, set the date, Sweets, let's do it.
Yeah.
I said, oh, okay. Well, then meet me at the studio this Wednesday at 7.
Yeah.
And I'd be damned if they didn't come. You know, and that was LaQuanda, Mother. Yeah. I don't know if you know Mother. She's into music and podcast too. But she said, well, it's Sweet, set the date. You call, you said it will come.
Let's talk about it.
And I said, that's what she made me stand on it in front of all my, I said, what? Okay. Wednesday at the studio.
Yeah.
And everybody came.
Yeah.
You know, and I formed a committee, and including my carnival people. They heeded my call. They said, hey, Sweet.
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, they said, how could we help? What could we do to help this?
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? Let's do another carnival. So, and it didn't come that easy. I had to fight tooth and nail with the city of Norwalk to get Vets Park. But nothing like that has ever been done in Veterans Park before.
Right.
You know, for Juneteenth, a whole Black carnival at Veterans Park, you know, and there was a lot of pushback, but, you know, we prevailed. You know, and it was successful and impactful. It was.
It looked good. Again, I didn't even know really about it till like it was up. I started seeing posts. I'm like, damn, like I said, I'm thinking like Oyster Festival. I'm thinking all these different things, you know.
Right.
And then I started catching wind, and I seen you with a post. I'm like, oh, like I didn't really even know what was going on, but that was dope though.
Yeah.
But that's how it goes. It's always going to be pushed back, especially for us.
Yeah.
But we got to push through.
We got to push through.
Yeah, we got to.
You know, and sometimes what I like to tell people is, it's not always my bark that needs to bite.
Right.
Sometimes other people have to bark for you.
For sure.
You know, so, and I put myself in a room with different people where I could tell them what's going on, and they'll say, oh, hell no, I want to be there. And they can't wait to speak. You know, that's still a voice of me. Right. You know, I know that I didn't put a battery in their back. They just feel that emotion.
Some people need that battery though.
Yeah, including me. I need it.
Yeah.
So to set off this whole Juneteenth thing.
The next thing I was going to ask you is, and that's something I had to fully embrace in my life, was my actual power, like my actual role. Do you think you know your actual power? Or do you think that you have imposter syndrome a little bit, where you feel like you're not who you are? Yeah. Because you said a minute ago, you was like, yo, they heeded my call, almost sounded surprised. I'm like, why wouldn't they? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like, because I'm looking at you like, why wouldn't they answer your call? You're you. Right. And so I know a lot of times I was feeling like that in the beginning too. I'm like, man, I was like shocked, but I'm like, wait a minute, like I'm me. And I had to really just start to really embrace me and the power and that you yield. But do you know your power? I don't think I fully know I don't think I know my power, but I don't think I exercise in all my power. Right. Thank you for asking that question, because it hits home, because people do tell me that, but I'm so humble. You know, and I'm so, I want other people to have that power. Right. So I'll give the credit. You know, I'll let people see you shine, you know, not me shine, because I know I'm going to shine. Of course. You know, but I don't flex my power. Right. And sometimes I don't work in all my power. And I know I should, because I know, but I just don't. And so sometimes maybe it is a touch of imposter syndrome, a little bit, to where I I don't think I'm exercising in my fullest potential. Yeah, but that was a good, honest answer, and I thank you for that, because I like I said, I had arrived there, and I remember I just posted something on my page a week ago, and it was just talking about just basically accepting like the call, you know, and like you've been prepared the way you've been prepared, and sometimes you got to just realize it's me, like it's me, and it's not to say I'm cocky or arrogant, because I'm not cocky or arrogant. I love to push people and put batteries in their back. At the same time, only certain things can happen through you. Like that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? And you got to accept that and just walk in that and walk in that authority. But it's just you. Yeah. That's what it is sometimes. Like it took me a long time to get there. And I remember saying to myself, I was praying to God about not having or not being where I wanted to be. Right. And I remember saying to myself, like, you're not even using all your gifts, bro. Like how you just said, I'm not operating in my fullness. Right. And it's like, you got a child. So you put a plate in front of PJ and say, eat your food. And he got a whole plate of food. He'd turn you and say, Mom, I'm hungry. You just said, boy, eat that food. Right. Like that's all the gifts God planted already in you. Right. Like, you're like, yo, I need more, guy. Like, what? Man, I made you sweets. I made you all of this already. Why are you not using that? Right. And so I had to really, really step into that too and just like stretch. Right. You know what I'm saying? And whatever it is, and whoever feels uncomfortable, you could do that. I don't care. I'm not gonna shrink me for your comfort.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not never doing that. You could just be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna stretch as big and as wide as I can. I'm gonna use everything I got.
Oh man, thank you so much. And you know what? Whenever I encounter people or things like this, I do ask God to give me the message or the reason. Why am I here? I could almost cry. I know why I'm here. Why I'm here is not for you to interview me, but for me to hear what you have to give me. And I needed that.
That's good.
I needed that because I don't. I don't. I don't know. I don't want to say it's a fear of being perceived, a fear of the perception of how people will perceive me as being arrogant and not humble. So a lot of times I don't speak when I know I can. A lot of times I do speak when I know I should, but do I speak enough? Do I do enough? Right. And sometimes people get away with a lot only because, I don't want to bring smoke. I don't want any smoke. And I don't want to strip you from any kind of confidence you may have.
Right.
So I'm careful when I speak to people. I read rooms, I read people and situations. So I'm sensitive to other people, and the way they think or act. So I don't deliver the full sweets because they can't handle the full sweets. And I know they can't handle the full sweets. So I scale it back. So like you just said, I'm giving you all of me. I don't give all of me because they can't handle it.
I get it. But let me give you something real quick too. And while it's okay to do that, and I'm considerate of people's feelings. I'm not here to intentionally hurt anybody's feelings. But every time you do that, you trade in you.
Yeah.
You trade in your feelings to protect their feelings. But your feelings is dying. And so why would you do that? I'm not going to do that either. If somebody got to die today, it got to be you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to. I can't. Now it can't be me. It got to be you.
I love that.
Right. And so I chose that too. When I was in a people pleasing mode or wanting to be liked or wanting to be accepted or whatever that was.
Right.
I'm trying to protect. I want to do this, man. And I start dying inside. I'm like, this got to be said. Yeah. And I seen something on the internet about the difference in keeping peace and making peace. And many times we keep peace, and keep peace means I ain't going to say nothing.
Yeah.
I shut up. They can't handle it. And I'm keeping peace, but I'm dying.
Right.
Making peace means we're going to sit, we're going to talk, we're going to come to a resolution, and then we're at peace.
Yes.
And so that's the difference. If I got to die on a sort of truth, I'll die on a sort of truth. I don't care. If you got to hear it, you got to hear it.
Okay. I got you.
I'll martyr this whole relationship and friendship.
Right.
To give you the truth.
Absolutely.
But I ain't going to shrink the truth to make you feel comfortable.
Right.
Never.
Yeah.
Because then it's going to eat you up. It's going to eat you up, and it's going to eat you from within. And a lot of people deal with it. I tell people, you could deal with me or not. It's okay.
Right.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to show up in love, and I'm going to show up as me, and that's okay. And you can like it or not.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I let the chips fall wherever they fall.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. I fall on my own sword. I'm cool. Yeah, I'm cool. Yeah. Because, again, there's many times where I truly feel like not telling somebody the truth is really a disservice.
Right. It's
stuff that you need to hear, man. And nobody's telling you because maybe they were scared to tell you. Yeah. Maybe they was, they scared of your feelings, whatever it is. And I ain't going to tell them, but they still needed that.
Right. So, and I'll say this. Only a chosen few really get that.
Right.
They really get that. But everyone should get that encounters me. But it's some people that I have to be transparent because I can't. So even working with BK, I can't hold anything back from him. No matter how much it is, because it weighs me down so much, even if I have to cry telling him.
Of course.
Whatever it is, I have to tell him because he's the closest thing to me.
Right.
Business and really personal that really knows a whole lot about me, and my feelings day to day.
Right.
So when I'm not forthcoming with him, then I feel like I'm lying to myself or I'm compensating my own feelings.
That's right.
And I have to tell him, I have to tell him or we talk about it or whatever it is. But when I do, I feel so much me, and then I'm just walking on freaking water after I told him.
You have to, especially something that's long sustaining. There's no way that a relationship built on lies or falsehoods will last. It just won't last.
Right.
So regardless of how he may feel about it, it's the truth.
Right.
And so I use this analogy all the time with people. I say, if my breath is stinking, it stinks, right? And you come say, yo, Mike, your breath stinking. It might hurt my feelings a little bit, but it ain't going to change the fact that it stink. And I'm thankful that you told me.
Right.
So I could go hit my jibs up and get them right. Now, my feelings might be a little hurt. Like, damn, she had to put me out there like that. Right. But I'd rather it come from you I'd rather you tell me right here in this room right now my best thinking before we go out there to the Juneteenth festival.
Right.
And there's 500 people and I'm like, hey.
How are you?
Right. And they're like, bro, now everybody laughing at me. I'd rather you tell me. So,
yeah.
You know, I posted something the other day too about seeking truth and always wanting the truth. Even when it hurt, you got to want the truth and you got to always speak the truth. And
you know what? It's a way to deliver the truth.
Of course.
One time, Dolo, Ron Stewart from, you know Ron?
I know the name of TV, right? Oh, no, come on.
From Atlantic Records. He's the VP of Atlantic Records now.
Okay, no, I don't know.
Yeah, Ron Stewart. So he, and he was in our wedding. You know, we all came up in the music together in the backyard. But we were in Atlanta. Me, him, and Dolo, we were meeting somebody. And, you know, Dolo was out the car. He's networking, doing his thing. Mm-hmm. And I happened to pull the sun visor down and look. And I said, what the hell? I mean, my eyes were, you know, mascara down here, shiny as hot. I said, Skull. So we call him Skull. I said, Skull, what the hell? Why you have me looking like this?
Yeah.
He said, Sweets, what I'm supposed to say? I said, say Sweets, freshen up.
Okay.
And I know that means look in the mirror and get myself together. So to this day, he says Sweets, freshen up as a joke. You know what I mean? But I get that.
But you would have appreciated the truth.
Just say Sweets, freshen up.
Because you can take it, right? And
I can take it.
And so I always tell people, give me the truth. Like, and you should always want the truth. I don't care. Don't coddle my feelings. Tell me the truth.
Yeah.
I can't work well with lies.
Yeah.
It feels manipulative.
Right. Yeah, I get it.
I only can operate in truth. Let me decide. Let me do whatever I got to do. Give me the truth and let me do what I got to do with that truth.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And it's just, like I said, it's all in the delivery. You know, I don't have to say, damn.
Nah.
You know,
you ain't got to kill me.
I could offer you a mint.
Yeah, just put me up, though. But tell me.
Yeah.
You know, some people will.
You might need this a little bit. You
put me on.
Today, or, you know, it's something I could say.
Whew, thank you. But everybody ain't built like that. But the biggest growth is going to come from people who could accept the truth. There's a quote I read about. It said, your personal growth stops at the point where you can stop hearing about yourself.
Yes.
Whatever point, like you're like, oh, enough. Like that point is where your growth stops.
Yeah.
But if you could just hear it and just take it and don't attach a feeling to it and don't make it so weird and emotionally charged, you can be getting some real good opportunities. Like I tell everybody, complaints are like opportunities for growth. Like, it's not, you take it personal if you want, but it's just an opportunity.
I'm gonna grow from it.
I tell people, I come in my spots, my liquor store, wherever I have, I want you to poke holes. Hate, I want you to hate, actually.
Yeah.
Every hole you poke, I'm gonna plug it.
Right. Yes, I love that.
And like sometimes people's vantage points and perspectives are different, so they're gonna see things you can't see anyway. So I'm okay. I'll be like, yo, poke it.
Right.
I ain't poke it, find it.
I love it.
When I bring people in, I'll be watching them, scanning their eyes. I'm watching them. I'm like, I see the wheels rolling. I'm like, hey, please give it to me. Because I'm going to use that and make it better.
Right.
It's all good. I don't take it personal. I used to take things personally. And when I did that, it kept me in a defensive mode. And as long as I was defending, I couldn't learn. I couldn't hear.
Right.
Couldn't see. But once I opened up, I was like, oh, that's nothing. So, okay.
Right.
I was able to hear it, and it really catapulted growth. And I think that we all should strive for truth, whatever that truth is, ugly or not.
Absolutely. Me too.
So the Juneteenth festival, just switching back gears, because we can go down every rabbit hole and be here all day. But as far as the Juneteenth festival, the LIFT program, what is your vision? What does the next 2 years look like for you? What would you like to see happen, or around Norwalk, or just in your personal life, or with these children, or
so
what is your mission?
My mission is so we have the LIFT program, the LIFT Foundation. We also have the Dolo Foundation now, and that's an acronym for Death of Loved Ones. So Saturday, my daughter leaves to go to the Experience Camp for Grieving Children. She's been going 7 years. Today, I need to tell you why today is special. Today is 95 months. Today, Dolo's been gone. This is August 12th. So I picked this day on purpose. Okay, I like to do purposeful things on Dolo's Angelversary. So this is 95 months
That's
today.
Awesome. Well, I'm honored that you chose today to come down here. And
down to the boys in the hood. I don't care who it is. Yeah. You know what I mean? They all, so it's important that I try to reach these people in the inner cities, in the big cities, whoever, who don't know about that there's help for grief, because death is happening all the time, and we need help out of it. I always say that we break our arm, we run to the emergency room, gash in our head, we in the emergency room. But the second our heart get broken, we think we have to keep it home.
Right.
Don't go see a doctor.
Right.
Mental health, don't go see a doctor. We need doctors, and they just practice. Right. No one made me better. I had to take these resources that they gave me and utilize them.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to do with Camp Dolo.
That's awesome too. And I know I have a friend of mine, won't say his name, obviously. He has children who just attended that grief camp.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And we'll talk about it off camera or whatever, but I know it was extremely helpful for them.
Right.
Too. So they went to that grief camp and he was just telling about the experience and how it was just so good for them and all of that. And I think that's totally necessary, especially as me. I lost a parent at 30, how was I, 31. Lost my mother. And that was tough. I could imagine losing it as like a child. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And even for that, it was hard for me to process. I don't think I really did process. Like I was talking about on another podcast episode, I just went to work and kind of buried it and didn't really process. Like how you said about when we get sick, we'll go to a doctor, whatever. But I experienced a heartbreak. I went right back to work.
Right.
And just bury that whole feeling. So it's definitely important, especially with kids.
Yeah.
And it's imperative for adults like yourself to kind of walk them through and kind of try to hold their hand through that process in place, you know what I'm saying, of what they may have lost. It's very important. Like I said, I know I spoke to my boy, he was just telling me the impact it had. He's like, my kids had just a great time. And, and so I know it's important. So I'm looking forward to that because, that would be under your hand. You know what I'm saying? I get that they got where they're going and that's good, but this will come through you and your hands. So I think it'll be a different experience. I think it'll be good.
Right. Yeah. Anytime someone loses a parent or if I know that they lost a parent, and I know that the surviving, mother or father is there at, the first thing I do is inbox them, reach out to them, I'm quite sure I probably reached out to whoever you're talking about, sent them the experience.
I'm sure you did. Yeah, I'm sure you did.
I've even taken kids myself, so with someone who lost her dad, I bring her to the experience camp. She'll be with me next week. I'll bring her to White Plains. They get on the bus. This is what we do because I understand that, we're not all from homes of people who know how to find and navigate help and resources.
That's right.
So.
And that was the other thing you mentioned about that you do. And I do a lot of that as well. Like, because I'm in rooms people are not in, you know what I mean? And so I always keep two things in my head. I always keep Robin Hood in my head, like rob from the rich and give to the poor.
Yes.
And I always think Trojan horse because, the Trojan horse was a gift that they left at the gate as a trick. Mm-hmm. And they opened the gates thinking it was this beautiful horse, but it was a trap. There were soldiers inside of it that came in and took the city down. So I always tell people, I might look safe, but I ain't safe.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm in a room. I might look friendly. I might look like the safe black guy, but I'm really just scanning this joint because I'm taking everything in because I'm about to bring everything back to where I'm at and where I'm from. Right. And I think that's important because, like you said, everybody won't turn over every rock, or everybody can't infiltrate every room or every space, but you can. Right. You can get around the mayor, you can get around this person and that person. So why not use that and use your vessel and bring it back to the people who can't do it? Right. Like I'm very intentional about that. Any room I'm in, I'm like watching, like, okay. Especially if I don't see my kids in there. If I don't, like, I went to an event with another nonprofit, a large one, and they had a big festival and it was a beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. But the kids, in my opinion, and again, I can't assess people, I don't know their life, but these kids were well-to-do already. Their parents was Harvard graduates, and they was black kids, but I felt like they would be okay no matter what. They got the connections, they okay, they got the network. My kids don't got none of this network, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna be the bridge. Right. Like that's how I look at it. So I get in all these rooms and these spaces, and I'm like, yeah, my kids got to come into this. Yes. Like the most vulnerable. Right. And I think that a lot of resources don't reach down deep enough into the most vulnerable cracks and crevices that Sweets can navigate, that I can navigate. You can walk through Sono, you can walk through South Noah, you can walk through anywhere, and you can infiltrate them spaces where somebody else might be afraid to walk down that street. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so I use that to my advantage. I'm like, I'll come in any room and I'm gonna learn, and I'm gonna bring it on back to the people who don't have that opportunity. Right. And when I go in those rooms, a lot of times I'm Facebook Live because I like to take people with me. They've never been to New York Fashion Week until I brought them there, until I brought them to Fashion Week. Right. I want them to see behind the scenes. I want them to see even Google. We did something with Ludacris and Google, Dolo and I, before he passed. And I went Facebook Live.
You know, because they don't get to see us. Sure, it's us working, but if we can do it, you can do it too. So I want to show them. You know what BK said to me? We built the dance space. He said to me at the end of it one day, and he said it in this quiet voice, you know, it was late, we were tired, we were exhausted mentally, all that. He said that you make me see you show me that the impossible is possible.
That's all people be needing.
Damn it.
Yeah, yo. Yeah.
You heard the boy? When he said that, I said, if I don't do anything else in this world, if I just to know that I impacted someone enough to know that anything that's impossible is always possible.
Yeah.
You know, we could do it. We just have to, you know, we just have to gear up, put our boots on and figure it out how to get it done. There's nothing that we can't do.
That's right. That's right. And that's, again, my life is my life. I went all the way wrong and come all the way back. And that's what I stand for. I tell everybody, yo, y'all see me doing it, bro.
Right.
Y'all better know. You know what I'm saying? I done got federal. I once been in the feds. I got a felony. The whole thing. I've been shot.
Right.
I've been through the whole ringer.
Right.
And so I tell everybody, y'all can look at me, just know it's possible. You know what I mean? And then I saw another good analogy. It was talking about the difference between a road sign and a tour guide. You a tour guide. See, like a tour guide, a road sign could tell you exit 5 miles away.
Right.
It's planted right here.
Right.
It ain't 5 miles down the road. It's right here telling you about 5 miles down. It ain't been 5 miles down the road.
Right.
It's telling you about 5 miles down the road. Right?
Yeah.
And then there's a tour guide who gonna walk you, hold your hand and say, watch that step. There's a bush there.
Right.
I've been through this thing 1,000 times.
Right.
So I could take you through differently. You know what I mean? And you're a tour guide.
Right.
And so more people need to be that. People who've been through it, who came through it, and like, nah, I can tell you about every pitfall and everything. It's a different vantage point. And that's why I say you gotta embrace it. You gotta just take it because that's where you at. That's where you are. Like, and so it's good to do that. It is important to show people that it's possible because everybody thinks it's impossible until it's made possible.
Right. That's it, hence the carnival.
Right.
So, you know, a lot of people showed up like they were expecting a bunch of bouncy houses. Like, no, I said a damn carnival. Right. I'm talking Ferris wheels and, you know, and all that, the cliffhanger or whatever.
They can't see it.
And so I seen that, you know, a lot of notable people too. It's not that I don't want to say they doubted me, but they did doubt me. They doubted the production of what I was talking about.
Right.
You know, and when they came, a lot of them cried, you know, just looked at me and literally grown up people, probably 20 years older than me, just cried tears and said, I'm so proud and I'm sorry I didn't know. You know.
How could they know?
How could they know?
I always tell people like, yo, like I tell people what they do. That's crazy. Like, yeah, I get it. You don't see it. When I close my eyes, I see it.
Yeah.
You know? And it's hard to translate from here to there or to there. Like you ain't gonna get it. I get it because you only think it from your limited knowledge and experience and what you know and what you know to be possible. Like I get it. Like I get it. I understand now. I used to take that personal too, but nah. Yeah. And you're gonna keep showing them. It's like this is me. This is how I do it. You know what I'm saying? And so, but it's important, especially for them older people. And that's a big impact too. Like when the older people come around, they like so. It's like they was waiting for you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like, whew, wow.
Yeah. And you know something? Yeah. Even saying that, so when I first started talking about the Black Heritage Parade, I went to the studio after the meeting and after the first meeting. I went to the studio and there was a FedEx envelope on the floor. When I opened the door, I said, what's this? And I opened it up and it was zipped up and everything. It wasn't a real delivery. You know, they used the FedEx envelope. Inside it was the original proclamation from August 9th, 1998. That was the date of the last African Day Parade. Wow. They slipped the proclamation under there, their notes from their last meeting, their plan for they gave me the blueprint.
They was waiting for you.
Anonymously. You see that? And then I left. I'm like, and for the first time, we looked in the Ring camera. We're trying to make out who it is. You can't see his face.
God, boy.
He looked around. He said, this is it. You know, and he slips it under the door. You know, and he did it twice. And, you know, but I tracked down who it was. The only one living member, you know. And what's important to me about that Black Heritage Parade, too, is that there are people in the last 27 years in Norwalk that should be honored in this way. You know, they should be Grand Marshal because they did so much before me. You know, they did so much for Norwalk, for the community. and went unrecognized. They fought so many battles, you know, and I know they fought, you know, and one of the guys who I told him, you know, I went after the Juneteenth carnival and I said, and I told him that I was coming to see him. And somebody recorded me at the carnival, shouting him out, Mr. Ernie Dumas. I said, I'm coming to see you and I have something for you. And when I came and asked him, you know, and told him that we'd be honored to have him as the Grand Marshal, he cried.
Yeah.
He just cried and said, I love this city. And I know he loves this city.
Yeah.
You know, and he deserves to be honored like that. And if I could create a big parade around him, you know, and Bobby Burgess, he's another one who ran Neon, you know, and he helped a lot of people in the community. So even with Travis's campaign, Bobby Burgess taught me how to be a campaign manager. And I took that and I ran. In that first election, we broke records. I had Governor Lamont people coming. I want Sweets to do this route. What is it going to take for Sweets? But it was because of Bobby Burgess. You know, under his tutelage, he taught me, put me under, and I listen to the OGs now. You know, I'm a good girl and I'm a good student and I'm a sponge. So people like that need to be honored, you know, for all the toiling that they did in the last 27 years and no one knows about it or recognizes them for. So that's another reason why I want to do this Black Heritage Parade. You know, and the committee is formed up of people 10 years older than me, 10 years younger than me, 15 years. So it should anything happen to any of us, it should be able to go on. It shouldn't be just one living member.
So said a bunch of things I wanted to touch on. So for starters, you're absolutely correct about people needing to be honored. That's why I'm here honoring you.
Oh my God.
You see? So I look at the way you look at them is how I look at you. Right. And so I look at someone I see always in something. Right. And it's like people like who are working don't get flowers all the time. You know what I mean? And I know you're not doing it for flowers, but it's still nice to get flowers and get, you know, acknowledged. You know what I'm saying? So that's who I put on this podcast. I put on the people who are working, but nobody's like seeing them. You know what I'm saying? But I see him. I see you. You know what I mean? So that's number one. I honor you. I think that you do amazing work out there. And I think it's necessary work. And I'm glad that you're continuing the work that you guys have started and that you have found the strength and the power to continue that. Because, you know, you could have just threw your hands up when Dolo passed away. You could have said, hey, this is over with. Let me go and do my life. Or however. You could have did that. Right. You could have did whatever. But you've chosen to continue on the legacy of what y'all building. And the community impact that's necessary. It would have been a huge, and I never would tell you what to do with your life. You were entitled to do whatever you wanted to do after that. But that would have been a huge disservice to that community. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Y'all are such an anchor and such a pivotal part of South Norwalk. To me, again, I'm from Stanford, so I could be totally wrong, but to me, that's what I see. And so I'm thankful for that, and I want to honor you in that way, the same way you honoring them. Because everybody, again, there's a time for leading, there's a time for following. Right. Like, you know, you say you listen to the elders. There's times I'm a student, I sit down and do nothing. Oh, thank you. And there's times where I sit down and I take control. Right. It just depends on the room I'm in. So that's the first thing I want to tell you. You know what I mean? But outside of that, you're not here to make nobody comfortable. Make them uncomfortable. Like when they see you, they should tremble. That's okay. Hey, that's okay. I'm not here for nobody comfort. I promise you. And so I'm definitely going to be tapping in because I didn't know you was a campaign manager either. Yeah. So my sister, she just got endorsed for district rep. Oh, nice. So right here on the west side, this is where I'm from. Like, this little block is where I'm from. Right up the hill where KFC is at is where I'm from. Oh, okay. All right. This whole little block would be her district. Okay. So I'm going to be running and helping her run her campaign too. So, you know, any pointers you may have for me or whatever. Absolutely. You know, shoot them my way, please. Yes. We definitely want to get that done because she cares. Like she got a heart. Absolutely. Yeah, she got the heart for the people. So we're gonna get her up in there. Yeah. But it's necessary, like I said. Yeah. So it's necessary, Sweets. Like I said, you don't sell yourself short. You are you too. Right. There are people who see you and you don't know who you're inspiring. That's something I had to come to terms with too myself. People was messaging me like, "Oh, I'm watching you." I'm like, me? Yeah. I'm struggling. Like, you know, I got $14 on my account. You watching me? They're like, yo, you inspiring me. I'm like, okay, well, great. Right. And it started really, you know, I had to just accept it one day. Like, all right, cool. Like, you don't know who you impacted. You don't know who's watching. Yeah. You just don't. And some people a lot of people are drawing off of it. Even if they don't say nothing, even if they don't comment, even if they don't like it, they watching.
Right.
They watching. So
yeah. A nail tech, I was getting my nails done in the mall, and she in her broken Chinese accent, she said, I watch your podcast. I said, what? She said, yeah, you darling, I watch podcast. Very positive. I said, oh my God.
You just don't know.
I'm like, damn, I'm at the nail salon and this I didn't say anything about it.
You just don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, to what you're saying, I don't know. I never thought that she would say, come on. Yeah. I'm there just getting, there for a little minute.
Yourself. You just being you, right? And so that type of moment happened with me with the cops. So for me, I was like, what? This is narc. The last time I seen him, he was locking me up.
Right.
And so I seen him and I ran up on him because at this point I'm like so far removed from anything illegal. So I'm like, man, whatever. So I run up on him and I was talking about a book bag giveaway we were doing. So I'm like, yo, Cooper, Cooper, if you've seen this, because he watched the podcast.
Okay.
So I'm like asking him, I'm like, yo, would y'all be opposed to like a Dunker Cop fundraiser type of thing? Put y'all in a $10 a ball, raise money for PAL, raise money for our foundation, whatever. He's like, I don't know, talk to so-and-so. We had a really fluid conversation. And I remember saying to myself, wow, times have really changed. Like, if this was 10 years ago, I'd have been taking off. I seen this truck. I'm like, oh, yo, they out, they riding. Yeah. And here we are talking now about a Dunker Cop. Yeah. And then he says to me, yo, man, I watched the podcast. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, so I'm like, oh, at least you see me doing something good. I wasn't up there selling no drugs. Right. But it was just a full circle moment for me to arrive there, because the last conversation when he did put me in those cuffs, he was like, bro, I know this ain't nothing. Because it was something minor, it was something small. Mm-hmm. He's like, but I hear you're really smart, man. Like, why are you doing this?
Right.
I'm like, doing what? I'm still in my criminal element. I'm like,
what am I doing?
Well, you know what I'm doing? I'm selling drugs. What are you talking about, right? So he's like, man, you know what I'm talking about? I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. So long story short, we just kind of joking. I'm like, bro, you got a job to do. I got a job to do, man. And one day, I'm sure we won't be on the opposite sides of each other. But right now, this the job.
Right.
I'm me and you.
Yeah.
And so when we finally arrived at that spot, I said, I told you, man, one day we be all right. And the day is here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I'm not breaking no laws anymore. But there was a point in my life where every time I got in the car, I was breaking the law.
Right.
Whether I was riding dirty with something, a weapon or some drugs or something or something. It's something on me that's going to get me in trouble.
Right.
And it was such a relief the day I was like, I'm done. Like,
you knew you were done.
Oh my God, it was such a relief, a breath of fresh air, because for so long, I wouldn't even speak about the future. People would see me, they'd be like, yo, next year, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I don't really know. I'm outside a little bit. And it wasn't until I fully removed myself, I was like, I had to really catch up with the thought, like, yo, I'm gonna be here. You know what I'm saying? Like, for a while, I'm like, yo, I don't know. Yeah. Because I was into a lot of things, street things and beef and, a lot of things that could shift the trajectory of my life.
Right.
But it was just interesting. Like you said, you had that moment where you go into a nail salon. When a narc told me that,
you knew.
I got to get him on the show.
Yeah,
he next.
Right?
He next. I got to sit him down. Like, yo, what y'all was talking about in the meetings about me?
Yeah, but you know what's good, even being on the other side, is that you get to, because he does have a job to do, right? So you get to speak to them in a way that, because people are curious. Mm-hmm. Like, honestly, when there's police officers outside the studio, I've spoken to them, I've interviewed them. I mean, and they should be on my podcast.
Really?
Because I say, what's the worst part? What's the best part? Yeah. What's I want to know what was in your mind.
I want to talk to him. This is real.
Like, it's a real good interview.
Yeah, because I was on them walls in there before.
Yes.
So this is not like an interviewer, some rant. This is me, bro. I was at your morning meeting.
Right.
I know I was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So how do you feel about me now? Like, when you see people who've changed in the community as a cop who once arrested them, and now you see you're being interviewed by them.
Yeah.
How do you feel? You know, like, there's some good questions in that interview.
Yeah. So I absolutely
it's dope.
I'm gonna sit down with them. But those full circle moments for me, I never, if you'd asked me this 4 years ago, I said, hell no, I ain't sitting up. But narcs, there was a time in my life I didn't want them to see my face. That's why I would never take photos, nothing. I'm like, I don't want y'all to even know I exist.
Right.
Let alone sit down and have a conversation with you. So again, those full circle moments, though, those are the confirmations, though, that you're on the right path. And those are those subtle little things God let you know, like keep going.
Right.
So you're doing it right. You're doing it good. And that's good. I'm glad. So you can be proud of everybody. I'm proud of you.
Thank you so much. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. And
that's not just because you said it to me. That's the truth, because we've both been through some hard times. Yeah. So so we both have grieved. We know our losses. So to come back as a person in the community that people know, and now you're lacking somebody who you once loved, and they know that this is your ace right here. You know what I'm saying? It takes a lot of strength to come back out and hold your head up and move forward, just like you're saying about me. That's right. So I'm proud. The first time I met you, honestly, was your brother's birthday weekend with Misty on the boat. Mm-hmm. And you didn't know, but I put money on that boat. Right. And that's one of the times that I'm talking about that. Yeah. I let other people shine. Yeah. But I had a whole lot that was my boat, first of all. My boat.
No, I know. I knew that part. I knew because I knew that came through you, though, Papa Fitz. I didn't know what. You reminded me now. I'm thinking, now I remember, though. Yeah. I do remember.
Had it sail from Vets Park. When does a yacht come to Vets Park? So that's I don't have on the shirt, but one of our other Sono shirts says experience our experience. Yeah. So everything I do, I want to make it an experience. Yeah. Even that birthday, I want people to be able to come to Vets Park, get on a boat, and sail off, and let's celebrate you turning 30. Fire. You know what I mean? That's fire. So even doing things. So that was the first time I met you. Yeah. That's the first time I met you. So being able to
but you see how you was in the mix? All these invisible hands? Yeah. That's what I make invisible.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And so it's like I know you be into everything. I know you come to know you gotta check in with sweets. Hey, you want to be safe, you gotta check in with sweets. That's what you check in with. You gotta check in, what I mean? Make sure you're good. All the way up and down Sono. Yeah. But I know that. You know what I mean? And so that's when we first met. And then I kept hearing you do Gabe and just do PJ. I mean, it was so many intersections. I kept hearing your name. Yeah. So that's what I was saying. That it's just dope for you to keep going too, because I know it's not easy. Yeah. I know it's not easy coming back outside when you know that everybody know, when they know. That's the hard. It's funny you mentioned that, because that was really hard for me. Yeah. That's why I moved from my childhood building I was in. Because every time I was in the elevator, I felt like they was like looking at me like with pity, almost like, like poor guy. Yeah. So that's why I had to switch churches. Yeah. Because when I go back to church, everybody want to lay hands on me. Yeah. Now I'm open and I'm vulnerable for the Lord right now. Yeah. I don't need all energy pouring into me. And it was making people sad. Yeah. When they see me. The same thing, because we've been together so long. They just couldn't write. 2 days ago was our business 30th anniversary. So it would have been our 31st anniversary, together. So some people only know Sweets and Dolo. Right. Some people only know Sweets and Dolo. Yeah. So it was hard, but we both of us, we came back outside and outside, and and I know that you felt the energy, and I'm sure you feel the energy when you move. And I hate when people say like he's in a better place and all. Don't say that to me. Okay, that's when I know you need grief groups, because you don't know what not to say. And that's another reason why I have the Dolo Foundation, because BK and I produce videos. We interview people who've experienced grief. Then we have some pamphlets, some worksheets. We make a video, and I'm narrating the video. But because people don't know how to support someone who's grieving. They don't know what to say. Right. One lady said, people just look at me like, yeah. I'm like, I'm all right today, but now I'm not okay. Yeah. Now you're looking at me crazy. Now I'm feeling everything that you're like, Oh, man. One lady looked at me and said, how old are you? I said, 47. She said, girl, you look good. Don't worry, you'll find somebody new. And I'm like, somebody. Right. But she didn't know any better. Right. She didn't know any better. Right. So, I feel like that Dolo Foundation and Camp Dolo is going to help kids and other people get through it, even the counselors who's going to help the kids. And just the Dolo Foundation making these videos, it helps people to understand
how to support someone who's grieving.
That's right.
You know, it's not the cliche things that you hear. You know, that's not what to say.
Man.
You know?
Yeah. So I went through that. And that's why I had to move. I'm like, yo, y'all can't keep looking at me with this pity. Because I was okay. I had a good day today.
Yeah.
But like, y'all expected me to be like down and floored. And I get it because it comes from a place of yourself. Like, if that happened to you, you would be floored.
Right,
like,
right.
I'm here. And I also think that's why it's important for us to sit on this camera to have this conversation so people could see two people that went through a whole bunch.
Yes.
But we still got joy and we still are using our vessels for change and growth and impact because you get a choice the way you use pain. Like that's the one beautiful thing about being a human. You could go through things and you could turn into a terrorist and a monster and get hardened and get bitter, or you get better.
Right.
And if every time life throw you a lemon, you throw back lemonade, you're good.
Right.
Yeah, Dolo might be gone, but look what you're doing.
Right.
Look how you're using that meaning of Dolo. That look how you're using it.
Yeah.
Look how you transmuted that energy. And that's what we get to do here. You get to be better or bitter. That's your choice, though.
Yes.
And as long as you keep getting better, as long as you keep taking pain and converting it into purpose, it's fine. Because you can't stop nobody from leaving.
Right.
That's what I had to come to terms with for me. What made it easier for me was like, it's not in my control. Like, I can't do nothing about that.
Right.
I couldn't keep them here.
Right.
And then I also had to realize they never belonged to me anyway. I got to experience them. And I thank God for that. I thank God for the 31, 32. When my brother passed. Sorry, all the numbers is my daughter was born at 31. My mother was 31 when she passed.
You were 31 when your mom passed. Yeah, I
it's so much. It'd be so much death. I'd be mixing it all up.
Yeah, yeah.
But I just thank God more so. I say, man, thank you God for 31 years with her.
Right.
Some people ain't get 1 year with her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or a woman like this.
Right. Right.
Like, thank you God.
Yeah.
And so I fix my gaze on the gain, everything of what I gained, never what I lost. Because I ain't lose nothing.
Right.
You can't lose nothing you never possessed.
Right.
You can't lose nothing you never owned.
That's true.
And so it's all extra here. So I said, man, thank you, God, for this teaching. Thank you, God, for Norman. Thank you, God, for my mother. Thank you, God, for this rearing. Because, boy, look at me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I look at just all positive of it.
Yeah.
Because they never, if Dola would have passed when he was 80, you would have felt the same grief.
That's right. Yeah.
If my mom would have lasted 30 more years, I would have went through the same grief.
Right, right.
So eventually we know that the day is going to come. It's just the when we don't know about and we're not ready for it. We're never going to be ready for it.
Right.
So I just try to focus on all the goodness of their life and all the thankfulness of God placing them in my life. The importance of the Juneteenth festival and the importance of that heritage being present in Norwalk.
Yeah.
Why is that even important to you?
Well, you know what? It's important to me. Obviously, I'm Black, you know, and I'm in Norwalk, you know, and there's many of us that don't celebrate, you know, like we rally up and we celebrate all holidays, you know, but we don't celebrate ourselves or we're separate, you know. So there's about 5 Juneteenth events going on. Right. You know, in Norwalk, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I opened up Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you know, but.
Not to stop you, but. Because I go through book bag giveaways like that here. It's like 10 of them, right? How do we collaborate and unify that? Or how, like, because I don't think it shouldn't be 5 different things.
It shouldn't be, because if we had, imagine how much more impactful we would have been if all of those Juneteenth festivities throughout the week was at the carnival.
Right. It wouldn't be fragmented. Like, you wouldn't have whatever spill off and they get spilled off. Like, it would just be.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that, you know what, it's a few things. You know, it's a lot of chiefs and not enough Indians, you know, and then a lot of chiefs don't want to work with other chiefs because they just want the recognition that their thing was the, you know, like we did this here at this location. Right. You know, if I start naming locations, they're going to swear I'm talking about tips. So I'm not going to say any locations.
Hey, I told you ain't here to make nobody comfortable.
I'm not.
Hey,
you know,
it only hit dogs holler.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
boy, I'm getting ready to walk on water.
Listen, I ain't here for nobody comfort.
But yeah, if they understood they know the magnitude of what I can do and what I have done. Yeah. You know, but still, and you know what? A lot of times they don't, so they may do a book bag drive, but have they ever called you and said, listen, Mike, you know, we're doing a book bag drive over here on the east side. you know, they don't call us.
Right.
They never call a studio.
Right.
I'm probably the longest Black-owned business in South Norwalk, next to Darlene.
Right.
Okay? But in the community-wise, I'm saying. And they don't call me.
And you run a good business.
Yeah.
There's a, I always tell people, because I'm Black, and so when I built this, like I told you, I built this on a wing and a prayer, right? But even still, I wanted it to be real.
Right.
You know? I don't subscribe to just Black business. I think we need to still do good business.
Good business, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Even though we're Black. Like, I give you the opportunity first because you're Black.
Right.
But you still got to run good business. The production got to look good. It got to still be a good polished business. And so Sono Entertainment Studios is a polished, like a real studio.
Right.
With different rooms, and it's a real thing. And that needs to be saluted, because, again, it's not just yes, you are a Black business owner, but you're also running a good business. Yeah. So.
And people they really don't know the importance of running a good business. Right. And this is a short little example. I had an event this weekend, you know, and I hired wait staff. You know, they were to come in black and white. I called a staffing agency for them. So one girl showed up, and they were supposed to show up at 6:30. It's 5:14. This girl shows up. And she has on blue pants and a black shirt and some crazy black sneakers. And she smells of last night, like a stench of alcohol. So I'm like,
right.
I wasn't sure why she was here. I said, hi, right. You know, and I knew the person who drove her. But she said, I'm here to help. So she had a little bag in her hand. I'm like, I wonder if this is a change of clothes or something. She gets out the car and says, you know, I had my uniform. I was going to wear all black, but I just put on these blue pants and I said, what would make you do that?
Right.
Why would you tell me you know, I said, why wouldn't you have your uniform on now?
Right.
She said, is it a problem? I said, it's a big problem. I said, in fact, you can't work here. This isn't that.
Right.
And I said, look around. This isn't that.
That's another thing, too, I want to speak to. I think is a problem. Was she Black?
She was Black.
And so I'm not, again, my brother used to always say this, right? We'll go into a store. Let's say BK's white, right? Mm-hmm. He'll go in the store like, hi, sir, how you doing? Black person.
Yeah.
Then we'll come in the store like, what's up, man?
What's up? Yeah.
No, I'm like, nah. Hello, sir, me too, man.
Yeah.
Like, don't give me a subpar experience because I'm Black.
Right.
And I think that a lot of us do that with each other, and we attribute it to comfort with each other, but at the same time, it's doing a lesser job.
Yes.
Right? Because if this was a white production, you wouldn't even have played like that. You would have come
in your suit.
You wouldn't even have played like that. You know what I mean? And if you did come out of pocket, you certainly wouldn't have come with the energy of, is there a problem?
Yeah.
You would have been like, oh, I'm sorry. And you would have went and got right. And so as much as I love our people, we also got to do a better job at being better to each other.
Man.
And in fact, I try to do a better job for my Black people because shit, I'm like, I know how hard it is for us anyway. So I'm really putting my best foot forward for us. You know, I'm not looking at us as a cop out or a way to be less than. Like, hey man, oh that's sweet, she Black. Oh, whew, I could get there late. I could no.
Yeah. Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
oh that's sweet. So let me get there, make sure this go because I know they counting on sweets to fail.
Right.
So I ain't gonna let that happen. I come with I want to add something to it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think that we really do get comfort, but that comfort comes at an expense of service. And I don't
she
like
name dropped. You know, she told me one of my sisters was her cousin. I said, oh yeah, how so? Because I'm looking at her, I'm like, oh yeah, how so? You know, she told me her mother, she says this, but she thought that I was going to give her grace. I said, listen, in fact, I'm going to invite you in my house because I have to get ready for the party. Right. Now it's 5:30. It's 5:21. My dad needs to go to the deli to get some stuff, get ice, get, orange juice. I said, listen, I'm not going to, it's a heat wave out there. I said, on the strength of who your mother is, I love you vicariously through her, right? And my peoples. So I'm going to invite you in my house, but you're not working. So call your ride and you're going home. Right. Then I called the person who hired her and told her, boop, 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 boop. Yeah. Like she's downstairs. My father can't leave. Now we're being held up. Like this is crazy. Right. And she didn't show up. So, I told her, I said, this isn't what I paid for. Right. I purchased a service and this isn't the service. That's it. And I apologized to my dad. I said, Dad, I'm so sorry because I am outspoken. He said, no, Melody, I understand, because this is like, no, don't show up, don't show up like that, an hour early, not dressed, reeking of last night.
I think as Black people, because we're so like faith-based and church-based, and we want to extend grace all the time.
Yes.
I think that we confuse grace with shielding a consequence. Like, God gives us grace. Grace means God forgives us.
Right.
He understands why we making a mistake.
Right.
So I may empathize and understand why you thought that was okay.
Right.
But that doesn't shield you from the consequence.
Right. God
don't care that you careless of money. You're gonna be broke.
Right.
Yeah. You're still gonna feel the consequence, right? And so I think that while we are extending grace, shielding the consequence also doesn't teach them nothing. And I get it that I don't want, I'm sorry that you have to learn this way, but you got to learn.
Yes.
You can't be showing up to places like this, and you're about to learn today.
Yeah.
And I think that it's a tough lesson. It's a hurtful lesson, but it's reality. You weren't prepared today.
Right. You're
not ready for the job, and that's just what it is. And I'm not going to die at my expense again, because you're unprepared.
Yeah, I'm like, I took a picture and you see her, and then my dad's in the background. He has on his old all white, and he had on a Dolo shirt. So he has on all white with the Dolo shirt. Everybody out here is all white. Like look around. Just look at the ambiance of where we are. This outfit doesn't match with this. I was walking my dog the other day. Same neighborhood, predominantly white. And this Black lady was walking down the street. Mm-hmm. And she walked past me. She didn't say anything. And I said, good morning. And she turned around and she had this big smile. And she said, good morning. Have a great day. Mm-hmm. She didn't expect to be spoken to.
Right.
Because she's been walking through. I don't know. She could have came from the train station. Right. But how many people did this lady walk by?
Right.
That didn't even acknowledge her existence. Right. And I let her, and I knew that she thought I was one of them. Yeah. And I let her pass me, and I said, good morning. And she had an African accent. She was like, oh, good morning. Have a good day. Yeah. But that meant just that little bit of acknowledgement.
That's right.
Like, we have to do better.
Of course.
And why can't we do that for each other and just say, have a good day, good morning?
That's right. And that's the grace I extend. Like, I understand that we've gone through so much.
Right.
So I try to make your day a little easier.
That's
what I'm saying? Whatever it is, like, I can see a woman carrying with bags, I'm gonna grab them. Like, whatever I gotta do, like, I'm gonna try to make your day a little easier. But I also have a standard.
Right.
Especially with work. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yes.
So black, white, or blue, if I hire you, I'm holding you to the same standard.
That's right.
I don't care what your color is. I care about the job.
Yeah. Meanwhile, William showed up, Spanish guy. He has on his black and white.
Ready to go.
Has on a waistband.
Ready to go.
He's there at 6 o'clock. He said, I came a little bit early, a little bit early.
Ready to go.
Not a damn hour and 15 minutes early, William. And there was a few things for him to do, but he showed up, and he showed up in his uniform, ready to work. I don't care if he was purple. He looks good. He's dressed right. He fits the bill. This is what I hired. You know what I mean?
And so, like I tell you before, I give us first dibs. Because I extend grace. I get it.
Right.
It's hard. I get it.
Right.
They have a sitter. I get it. You probably had to jump through 50 different hurdles.
Right.
But even still, you should have communicated with me. All different types. There was so many different things that could have happened.
Right.
And at the end of the day, the result is the result. Like, I need the outcome that I'm looking for.
That I paid for. So, I paid for a service and a look.
Yeah.
But
you'll learn.
Look.
You'll learn.
You'll
learn.
So
I've blown lots of opportunities, and I learned. I'm like, I got to do better next time.
And I have to.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for Juneteenth, that's where we are. And just like you said, we can go on and on. Yeah. Because it's so much, and this is long overdue. I'm so happy to be here and even to speak to you like this, and you speak so well.
Thank you.
You interviewed me so well.
Thank you.
And I like the things that you ask, and it's important for people to know. So I think, like, with Juneteenth and all these different events happening, if we could come together as we got to come together as Black people, first of all,
right?
Before we even think we're going to come together as Black businesses.
Tough.
So you already know, if you from this side, that side, we're shouting sides. We're not shouting at Black pride,
right?
And all the sides,
right.
And that's what I'm trying to bring forth, even for Juneteenth. I let people come and set up, even if you were on a committee, you got preferential treatment. And you know, if you didn't have it, I want you to make money. You know, come. If you have an info table, whatever, come sign up. Like the NAACP should be here. This is the Juneteenth weekend. We should be recruiting people this particular weekend. You know, so I think that organizations, when we see big productions like a Juneteenth Carnival weekend, we need to come together.
For sure.
If you know it's coming down a pike, we need to come together. Why are we scattered around? You know, that you can get the credit.
It's people and so when you know you it, you don't even need the credit. But it's these people that's like trying to like build their egos up and their names up and all this stuff. And that's really what causes that separation and division.
Right.
But it really hurts.
It hurts. That's why I formed the AFAM committee. It doesn't. It can say Sono Entertainment produces Juneteenth Carnival weekend.
Right.
I don't need that. You know. Right. I want people to understand that I'm not looking for the shine. I want you to shine. So I name people: president, vice president, secretary, treasurer. But the truth, like how we really work tirelessly behind the scenes on this, you know. Still, I'm not saying that, you know, for anybody, for me to get shine. Right. You know, I want this committee so we can see collectively as a committee, look at what we did. Then I start naming the committee members, you know, because I want to boost that morale.
That's right.
You know, so I try to form things like that. And I'm hoping that, you know, now that everybody from the, you know, the other Juneteenth festivities, you know, this one they was like, oh. Yeah. And even some of them. Yeah. You know, some of the Common Council, some of the other people, they took pictures there. They didn't tag me. They didn't say they like celebrate Juneteenth. Right. You know, reaping the damn rewards of that big production without even saying shout out to the AFAM Association. I seen the pictures. Yeah. You know, I seen the pictures with y'all stunting like y'all just, you know what I'm saying? But still wouldn't give us our just due. Right. And what's wrong with that? You know what I'm saying? And others they did. Right. But with the Black Heritage Parade, you know, I think it's important for whatever city we're in. But if it's the Fairfield County one, then so be it. You know what I mean? But it's important for us to show our Black excellence because it's different than a Memorial Day parade and the St. Patrick's Day parade. You know, we're different. We're a different culture. Right. You know, and I think that we should show off our culture, our uniqueness. It's loved. It's liked. It's copied. You know, from dances to
we set the trends.
We set the
Black Americans specifically. Like we set the trends. Yeah, for sure.
You know, trendsetters. Did I say it backwards? I feel like I said sin trends.
It's all good.
But we're trendsetters.
Yeah.
And you know, and we need to accept that, and I want to show that off. So that Black Heritage Parade, I want everybody. You know, if you're looking at this and you're Black, I don't care where you're from, and you don't even have to be Black like me. You can be Cuban.
You can be Black like me. You can be light skinned.
Yeah, you can be whatever, but you have to understand the opportunity.
That's right.
You know, you have to understand the opportunity that you get to show off in all your glory, all your excellence, build a float. You know, I'm telling people, listen, get a float. They like, bet. Yeah. It wasn't like a float, where am I get it? They like, all right, bet, I'm gonna build a float. There's nothing we can't do or that we won't attempt to do. So even if it means getting a flatbed truck and putting some press board on the side, like we're gonna make it do what it do. So I'm just hoping that everybody come out September 13th, Norwalk, South Norwalk. It starts at 11 o'clock.
Oh, this year. So it's something else coming up.
Year. Yeah.
Word. Okay.
So, and if you want to be a part of it, you can email AFAM Norwalk, AFAM, and that's short for African American Families.
Do you have vendors and stuff?
We're still signing vendors up.
Oh, word. So, let me know. I'll jump on. I'll jump on for sure.
Yeah, we want vendors, and if you go to that website, it's afamnorwalk.org.
Okay.
And you'll see all the information. I'll give you whatever information.
Oh, for sure.
But it's not too late. Yeah. You know, everybody can sign up, come, and just be a part of this. And let's show off in all our glory and color and rhythmic dances and, you know, all that stuff.
That's right. So I'm going to give you this, too, before we close up here. Mm-hmm. And maybe you don't know this about yourself. And I know this about myself, though. You are what's called a table builder.
Right? A table what?
Builder.
Okay.
So when we had a store, we had Cooley House, a store a while ago with Dublin. Me and Dublin was partners on the store. And the analogy I would always say was, bro, we set the table, they got to bring the food. So they had the inventory. We sold their clothes. We sold their candles, whatever, the stuff like this artwork on the wall. I always tell people this is from our store, Art of a Giant. Andrew, shout out to Andrew. I'm gonna get him on this program. Anytime you build on a table or anytime you build an infrastructure, you got to go through a lot of work to do that. Tears, blood, sweat, sleepless nights. It's a lot, and everybody ain't built like that, but you are built like that, and so you are building these tables. So you might not get just due from people. Yeah, I'll give you just due. I'm giving you just due, but you might not get it from people, but you will get it from God, and God will continue to bless you the way God has been blessing you. And that's how it comes. And so we got to recharge up there. We can't recharge amongst people. People are coming to get from you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Extract from you. But you'll always have the blessings as long as you move them through you. You'll always have them.
Right.
It's necessary. I know it do feel weird though. Sometimes you're like, damn man, I wish they just. But the person in front is rarely the person that's gonna get the flowers. You kicking down walls. You getting the dirtiest. You running through walls and all that. Right. And the person behind you get the benefit of like, polishing it up, making it perfect, making it nice, right? So the trendsetter is always going to be kind of like neglected, but it's okay. It's okay. That don't take nothing from you. And even if you don't get the credit, you got the power.
Hello. Talk to him.
You might not get the fans and waves, but you got the power, and that's where it's at. You know what I mean? And it's all good.
Yeah. And I think people know that. A lot of people see that, like how you called it out of me. A lot of people see that in me. And sometimes they think I don't see it, and sometimes I don't see it. No, I see it. Like I said earlier, I know I don't exercise in my fullest potential,
You about to start, right?
What?
All right.
Bye, y'all. I'm going to exercise.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, so, I appreciate this because it really is. It's enlightening, and I needed this. You don't even know. You have no clue what I've been going through for the last 11 consecutive days.
Right.
So I needed this. And this is doing something to me, to Sweets. To Melody. This is doing something to my being. To my core of who I really am.
I'm glad. I'm thankful.
Yeah, I'm grateful.
This is my ministry.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, this is my ministry. I figured.
I've been interviewed many times. And this is different.
Yeah, this is my ministry. I figured this is how I impact. I'm like this. I always used to get compliments on my voice. So I used to rap.
Okay.
Because I got compliments on my voice. But I'm like, dang, when I decided to not rap, that was the last little attempt. I did realize again, like I was telling you, that this is my ministry here. And every person I sit with, we talk. And I just want to put lots of gems and lots of wisdom onto the world. And I want people to see us because, again, you overcome a lot. I've overcome a lot. And I think it's very, 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 very important to show people, not only, like you said, making the impossible possible, but showing them that there's life after loss. There's life after, you don't have to be depressed. I think people get like survivor's guilt too a lot. And they feel like they should be sad. And I just, they feel like they're not showing sadness, that they're not showing that I miss somebody or something like that. Like, you don't have to be that, to miss somebody. I miss my mother. I miss my brother. But again, like I told you, I just am so thankful for we got together. All I can see is what we got together. I can't even see like them missing. I feel them too. So I really don't walk around with like a frown. I walk around with a smile all day. But I think it's important for us and people to see us in that light. Yeah. But I'm not gonna hold you here anymore before we start a new conversation. I absolutely appreciate you for coming down. I appreciate all the work that you do.
Thank you.
And I want to see more of the work. I'm tuned in, obviously. And any help I could offer, I'm here for you. And I just want to tell you, stretch.
Thank you.
Stretch.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Piss them off. Who cares?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.